But welcome everybody. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to hit the subscribe button.
I remember in middle school when you felt self-conscious if you were the last one to go through puberty. That really went topsy-turvy, didn't it?
Sometimes the Hasbara, it's too much explaining yourself and it's too apologetic.
Be sure to hit the notifications bell.
I actually do believe Israel won't just bomb countless civilians.
Be sure to tweet this out. Be sure to put this up on your Facebook.
You have to be kind to people. Being kind is the guys in this mess in the first place.
Put this up on your Reddit.
Chile is a country.
Be sure to cut and paste, a link to this to go into your favorite Facebook chat group.
It's good to see so many normal people in here.
Now, spanking isn't just my deep, dark personal secret. It's America's deep, dark secret.
I've never seen it explained so simply anywhere.
Put this on WhatsApp. Put this on Telegram. Put this on your favorite messenger app.
Hello and welcome to the Untitled Anarchist Seagull channel. I'm your host, an Untitled Anarchist Seagull called Elise. And this is the stream where apparently I fucked up the windows again. Did I, put the... I think I saved something to the wrong playlist. Dismiss, yes. Yeah, okay, I must have saved it to the wrong playlist. Neat. Hang on a second. So, here's just a random thing I noticed. Nothing particularly profound as far as I know. Just a random thing. Okay, that's what happened. That's... There we go. I have a whole playlist of stuff that is just related to video editing and stuff like that. And that was the thing I saved things most recently to, so that was at the top, and I accidentally saved the thing that I was gonna check out on stream tonight there. So, I like, detective shows and stuff like that. I'm not exactly unusual interest, I know. I watch them from all sorts of places, in quite a few different languages, and you notice weird things sometimes. One thing, there's lots of stuff that you see where you see that it's basically certain plots just get repeated all over the place, with different spins on them, wherever you go in the world. You look at shows made in Germany, or South Korea, or Chile, or wherever. But there's a really weird one that I just noticed tonight. Which is, there's one specific, murder mystery plot that you only ever see in one country. And it's not something, it's, nothing that I can make any sense. It's, not a specific, national thing that I know of. It would be really weird if it was, actually. But for some reason, atropine and scopolamine as a means of, murdering somebody is something you only see in these shows in France. And in France, everybody's fucking done at least one episode where the killer is giving people atropine and scopolamine. Nobody else does it. And I just find that the weirdest thing ever. And I just noticed that because I was watching yet another, French detective show, a new one I hadn't seen before. And what do you know? It turns out it's all about atropine and scopolamine. And that just strikes me as, it's just such a weird thing to be nationally specific. But, okay. So, we had an interesting stream yesterday. I did something different. I did, a pre-premiere of, Show Your Works, documentary series on YIMBYism, and where it comes from and how it's ended up basically being very dominant amongst Democrats in particular. And he'd asked me to show it and give my thoughts and stuff, and we had a very nice conversation, he and I, last night afterwards. It seems like that was very useful to him, and I quite enjoyed it. But tonight I wanted to get back to what we usually do over here, which is to look at assholes and jabronis who are just on their bullshit. And this week, there is a particularly vile specimen of jabroniism who was gave an interview to Adam Friedland, who I wasn't actually really familiar with. Now, I don't know about actually like giving this dickhead a platform. I mean, I can kind of see the argument that you, as a member of Congress, he kind of already has one, but I don't think you need to do that in order to dismantle his bullshit talking points. But since that has happened, I thought we might take a look at it. Because I've been, he actually, Torres blocked me on Twitter a while back. I think he's blocked practically everybody who acknowledges that genocide is a bad thing on Twitter at this point. So, I can't do my traditional thing anymore where I reply and point out what a scumbag he is, so... But I've never actually seen him in, in the flesh. And apparently, he does not come off very well. He has a very strong case of the NPCs. So, we're gonna check that out. The guy who... is the member of Congress for one of the poorest districts in the country, and as a result, as you do, decides that the thing that he wants to make his legacy is supporting genocide in Gaza. And Adam Friedland, who's apparently a comedian, I wasn't really familiar with him, but he's interviewing him. So we'll see. We'll see what this is about. Interview, become a member... I'm just looking there. It's divided here into chapters. Maybe just start out and just have a look at some of the beginning, and then we're going to skip ahead because there's a very specific thing that I think everybody wants to... Everyone cares about this.
Ritchie Torres, everyone, make some noise!
Yeah, only one motherfucker is applauding.
Hello.
What's going on?
Hello. Well, I got two issues. First of all, your district...
Now, does he have, like, a live audience? I don't know, Adam Friedland. Is the joke that he doesn't have a live audience? Or is the joke that he does and nobody applauded?
Is Yankee Stadium. That is one of your... That's one of your
I represent
constituents.
Yankee Stadium, yeah.
And I asked you how the Yanks were, and you were like, I'm not... You didn't...
So I love the Yankees, but I'm not a huge baseball fan.
You just turned it
And I'm
off.
not going to pretend to be.
Oh, no, he's a genocide fan. I mean, there's not anywhere near enough people getting fucking just brutally murdered in baseball for him.
Zoo.
I love the Bronx Zoo.
Okay.
Botanical Gardens.
Do you consider the animals your constituents?
I consider the Bronx Zoo indistinguishable from the United States Congress, yeah.
Oh. Does that crush in, like, if you say it to another guy in Congress?
It crushes nowhere because if I were actually, if I had any comedic talent, I probably wouldn't be in Congress.
Well, I mean, he is unintentionally funny sometimes. I think that's kind of a comedic talent.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
You want to be a stand-up
But,
comedian?
when I was a kid, I was a fan, not of baseball, but professional wrestling.
Really?
Yeah, I was a
we're the
huge
same age.
fan of
Attitude
The Rock.
Era.
The Attitude Era.
Oh
So
my
I started
God.
watching in 1998.
We had it so
Stone Cold
good
Steve
at the
Austin,
time.
The Rock. I thought that was the golden age.
Mankind.
Mankind.
So was I.
Yeah.
Yeah, that we were
And I
watching
did
Raw.
a huge Rock impersonation when I was a kid. Like I was, I used to.
I knew of you as a congressman, but
Yeah.
I didn't know your backstory.
Okay, and I'm skipping that because I honestly don't give a shit about his backstory.
Something interesting that's happened in the Bronx is in the last general election, from what I understand, there was the largest swing towards the Republican
Yeah,
Party.
one of the largest. In 2012,
Yeah.
Barack Obama won 96% of the vote in New York 15 in the Bronx.
Yeah.
Flash forward to the 2024 election, there's a more than 22-point swing toward Donald Trump.
Which, I mean, sounds more like there was a swing towards abstention, actually.
Why is the Democratic Party losing the most vulnerable people in America then?
Okay. I have a feeling I know what he's going to say.
Do you attribute that?
Well, the Democratic Party is hemorrhaging support among working class people of color throughout the country.
Why is that?
You know, Occam's razor holds the simplest explanation is almost always the best. The simple explanation is inflation and immigration.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, he's going to blame immigrants.
We had the highest inflation in more than 4 decades. So if you're paying double or triple the cost for groceries and gasoline, you're going to lash it.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of didn't think so.
Out at those in power, at
So
the establishment.
You said
Well, yeah, except, I mean, that's... I think there's sort of an intermediate step he's skipping, because if those in power are doing something to help out with the situation, then people are less likely to lash out at them. They're actually making themselves useful in such a situation. Usually people lash out at them if they don't.
the incumbency is just bound to lose that election. Biden.
If
Biden
the
or
incumbency
Kamala.
is perceived as failing, yes.
Was there a way to win that election against Trump?
I mean, yes.
If inflation is so bad, is it impossible to win that election?
The odds were stacked against us. Because
The odds, like, the fact that they were running against fucking Trump is actually a huge favor. That's like, you have to work at it to lose to that guy.
inflation and the mismanagement of the migrant crisis.
Which doesn't exist. I mean, the mismanagement in this case is like pretending that it does exist just because white nationalists say it does.
But
Yeah.
you know, if we had the benefit of a full primary process, and if we had a stronger general election candidate, maybe we could have won. But I don't know for sure. But Donald Trump is a fatally flawed candidate, so maybe we could have won.
You're a member of the least popular Congress probably of our lifetime.
I think we are.
Probably.
We're less popular than colonoscopies.
It sucks, dude.
Well, I mean, colonoscopies at least are useful. I mean, you get something out of the pain.
Yeah, does it
Based on the
suck?
left.
Does it suck to be
Yeah,
the
I
least?
think there was polling that said we're more popular than cockroaches, but we're less, and more popular.
guys are
and
losing
barely
out.
more popular than Ebola.
Well,
you guys are losing Hamas for sure.
Yeah, well,
You guys are getting crushed by
Hamas might be more popular on college campuses than Congress.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I mean, I would actually say at this point, see, I used to push back against that bullshit because a lot of it is bullshit. But on the other hand, I think that nothing has actually helped destroy the successful demonization campaign against Palestinian armed resistance of all factions more than the genocide that this jabroni has enthusiastically supported.
Okay, but anyway, but I looked at.
I mean, I have a feeling that actually the longer this goes on, the more people would probably actually, if you know, if Hamas stood a candidate against Ritchie Torres, I think they'd probably do reasonably well against him.
Outlook poll
At this
the other
point.
day. Dude, this is I was actually.
I mean,
starting to
probably
laugh.
not,
You don't have to
but
laugh at this. You guys are 23 right now. That's pretty. That's not bad.
Higher than I
That's
thought.
high.
Yeah.
You guys, what is this?
Oh yeah, which I mean, it's just worth just taking a moment and observing the fact that it's not that Trump's popular. Trump is actually extremely unpopular. Always was. But the Democrats are not. Yeah, exactly. Colonoscopies save lives. That's a good thing they do. That's more than I can say about this fucking Congress. But the fact that the nominal opposition party is not benefiting from the fact that everybody hates the guy that they're supposedly in opposition to kind of says everything. And I should say, for those of us who are trying to build an independent working class organization and resistance, it is a huge opening. Because the thing is, people are looking for solutions here. People are looking for some idea of what the fuck to do about this disastrous situation. And the people who the media set up to be the people you would go to about that have absolutely no credibility with anybody, really.
Oh,
That, I mean, in a sense, then, this is this is very much a moment where, especially because we actually have solutions, we should not be shy about them.
oh my God, May 2024, 13?
Means we have room for growth.
That's a way of putting it.
13.
Yeah.
That's you and the Republicans. 13.
Yeah, the institution at large.
13 is you poop your pants in front of the whole school.
Yeah.
February 2024, 12%.
Yeah, so it sounds like
What was happening that month?
If Congress were if Congress were a woman, you probably wouldn't go on a date with her. Is that
Why?
she's unpopular? I don't know.
No. Oh,
Yeah, you go, wow.
It'd be like beautiful, you know, like, what do you mean?
No, you seem to hate Congress. So.
I'm saying everyone does,
Okay.
right? I'm looking at the Gallup poll.
Are you part of the 13%?
Yeah, you're just like, well, it must be an Adam Friedland thing. If somebody else was reading the polls, who actually really liked Congress, the polls would say something different. That is apparently how Ritchie Torres works.
I think that we have to recognize the runway a little bit and what got us here.
Well, that's the weird thing about him. He is just I mean, it is. I've never actually seen him live, in the flesh. Like this. It's always been on Twitter until he blocked me, which I'm very proud of, actually. I'm very proud he blocked me. There are certain blocks that I savor. But the one thing that really does come off is the smugness. I think he does. I think he does think he's being funny by saying that. I think he absolutely is unable to, or unwilling to read the fucking room.
Maybe.
Yeah, I
you
agree.
know.
I mean, I'm surprised he went on this because of what I happen to know is coming up.
Marine Corps entering the second largest city in America and seeing the most vulnerable people in society just taken away from their children and kidnapped. And there are facilities in our country right now surrounded by alligators and stuff.
There is apparently, according to Unicorn Riot, they're saying that there are reports that there was, at least yesterday, was an uprising there.
Where there are cages with human beings in them who have not been afforded any due process. And the sad thing is that you guys are you're polling behind Donald Trump right now. And
That's not-
I mean, the line about due process would be much better if there was some acknowledgement that due process just does not it does not exist in the immigration context. I mean, technically, if you talk to somebody, constitutional law specialists or whatever, and they'll say, oh, no, it's not that. It's that, see, the question is always what process is due. I mean, in fact, if you read constitutional law books, if you read on the subject of due process, that is the question that is always being asked. But in the case of non-citizens in immigration proceedings, the answer to that has always been very, very little. Like, the idea that there was some sort of really great due process that non-citizens had in immigration proceedings and that's being denied them is not true. The reality is they have always been subject to just fucking kangaroo courts that are an absolute joke. They have no real access to the judiciary and never have.
Not true.
the Democratic Party has lower approval ratings than Donald Trump.
I think the story's more complicated there.
What is?
Well, I mean, that's the one thing that one should really add there is it's not that Donald Trump has a high rating. He has an extremely low rating. It's just that the people...
that?
Yeah, so the latest polling from CNN shows that the most important issue to Americans is inflation, the cost of living.
Uh-huh.
And on the most important issue, Donald Trump is 25 points underwater. And since the November election, there's been a 34-point swing against him, and that we as
Well, no, there hasn't. It isn't since the election. What people do here, this is a little sleight of hand that happens. Because the thing about these elections is it's a forced choice, and nobody really had any meaningful say in who gets to be on the menu. And so people, sometimes, like, dishonest people will treat the elections as opinion polls. And the fact that somebody wins, they will not look at actually the real percentage. They will not actually look at the available polling on what people think of that person. They'll just say, well, you know, in this election, you know, 26% of registered voters said that they wanted this guy and 25% said they didn't, or whatever. And therefore that person is popular. And it's like, no, that's not how any of that works.
Democrats are more trusted on inflation than he is. That's a huge...
More trusted than a guy who is... than a guy who's 25 points underwater on that? I mean, I don't think that means anything. Like, more trusted than a guy basically nobody trusts.
Swing.
Why are you guys not killing him right now? That is a charity.
Well, because they don't want to. They want to keep him alive.
Come on. You know, that's a.
I mean, inflation is the most important issue.
I want to talk to you guys about Monarch money.
I don't want to hear about Monarch money. Okay, now we're going to get into his funding.
You're in the House of Representatives, and
Yeah.
you have to run every 2 years.
Yeah.
Like, how long do you have to wait till you just start running for the next one after you win an
I
election?
mean, you start immediately.
Yeah.
It's like you're in a constant state of
I
thinking.
mean, given... You'd think, in this case, that he's almost more running from office than for.
Campaigning and going to fundraisers, doing all this stuff, is that...
I mean, it's one of the fucking poorest districts in the country, and all he can talk about is how much he wants to fucking kill Palestinians.
a distraction from the work that you have to do?
It can, but I feel like if you're effective at governing, then it improves your ability to get reelected. So if you're a good congressman, you're going to be.
Oh God, it's that meme. Was I a good congressman? No.
Popular in your district, and you're going to be well positioned to be reelected.
Does it suck that you have to fundraise, right?
It sucks. Fundraising sucks.
Yeah.
I'm sure it does. I mean, I'm sure all the
like,
fucking money that goes into his fucking pocket, all the junkets,
because of Citizens United, like,
it's nauseating to ask people for money. Yeah.
do you feel like?
I mean, I can identify with that. I hate doing it myself. I actually kind of, and I kind of hate like billing people for services that I provide. It's an awkward thing unless I just really don't like that person. Or I have a relationship where I don't feel like it's going to make things awkward.
People's like faith.
Even though it's a relationship that is a fundamentally commercial one, I actually do I do feel very awkward about it. So yeah, identifiable sentiment
institution, right?
I feel like too much money is too much time is spent on fundraising, especially if you're a frontline member who has a fiercely contested general election every 2 years where tens of millions of dollars are spent. You could be spending more than half your time every week
at a banquet.
No, or just call time, just dialing for dollars.
You were criticized, I saw, for Blackstone donation, right? And
BlackRock, that's what it is. I was blanking on that last night because there's too many fucking dodgy companies that have that name pattern, black plus innocuous item.
It's understood that they are the architects of the housing crisis, pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, you receive contributions from thousands of people.
Yeah.
Or employees from all over the place.
You can send it back and say, fuck off.
Yeah, I'm not...
So they're giving you a check just because?
I decide issues on the merits. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, I mean...
What I'll just do, but I decide issues on the merits.
So
I'm sure that's such an unusual thing to say, of course. I mean, most people... Other people probably just kind of flip a fucking coin, but me, I decide issues on the merits, like the issue of whether there's more merit in taking a whole bunch of money from somebody or not having that money.
Just cause, check?
Just because
They're just giving you money just cause they think you're nice?
I'm pretty sure that
I don't think anyone thinks he's nice.
Lefty candidates who have gotten money from people who are
Blackstone.
employed. Yeah, rank and file employees, sure.
I figure like you could maybe if you're like this guy's
You do know that
this guy's making my constituents' lives worse. You could be like, fuck you, I don't want it.
I mean, you could. I mean, in fact, you could at least theoretically take the money and use it on an ad specifically like slagging them off. You could theoretically do that. Of course, they don't do that because they want more of the money. But and getting more of the money means you don't slag off the people giving it to you. But you know, you could.
But a safe blue district, right?
People should judge me by my record. So.
Yeah. Oh well, I mean, I think that's the trouble is that when people judge him by his record, he blocks them on Twitter.
The legislation I passed.
Yeah.
I work 7 days a week. I'm visible in my district.
You should take more breaks. I mean, he needs to go on holiday more because when he's on holiday, he's doing much less damage.
I'm on the ground. I'm happy to.
Yeah.
If you ever want to take tours of my district, I'm happy to walk you through my district. So.
Yeah, I like.
I mean, I think you can walk through the Bronx without Ritchie Torres. In fact, I would rather walk through the Bronx without Ritchie Torres than with.
I've been to the zoo in Yankee City.
Right. Well, not the actual projects, not the amenities, not the institutions.
Yeah.
I can give you a sense of racially concentrated poverty in a place like the Bronx.
So that's
which is so interesting because he'll say that, but I mean, he's very much one of the people contributing to it.
My question is like,
where do you live? Which borough?
I live in.
Yeah, I know he does. He sounds like the if you listen to the really like creepy mechanical voice that YouTube uses on their horrible auto dubbing, which you can only be turned off by the creator. Yeah, I don't believe shit he says. I mean, it is also this sort of monotone. It's all just like this, like absolutely no fucking inflection in it.
Okay. Yeah, and that's my question. Like,
so
right?
you might
so
be
like,
divorced from the experience of racially concentrated poverty.
But what does that have to do with taking money from blacks? Like, I just feel like that's a deflection.
Even he's having trouble. He just had it.
Well, I think
and I don't want to.
No, because I
don't want to. Like,
yeah, like why? Okay, you're talking about racially concentrated poverty, and one of the reasons there's racially concentrated poverty is companies like fucking Blackstone, BlackRock, damn it.
Argument right now.
If you,
I don't want to argue.
If you want to question
Blackstone is a compendium of the laws of England.
Ability to represent my district, I'm happy to show you what I do. I'm happy to bring you to my district.
Well, I mean, the fact that your district is notable for racially concentrated poverty does not necessarily speak well of the people representing it. It doesn't sound like they necessarily have the backs of the people living there, actually.
And introduce you to my constituents.
What I'm calling into question is the institution, right?
I would love to. I actually think it might be almost a chance for some unintentional comedy to like do an unscheduled walk through his constituency, because I have a feeling that a lot of his constituents aren't happy with him.
To question the system, and you're functioning within a system, right?
I've received contributions from tens of thousands of people. I can't keep track of every person. I'm not responsible.
See, this is one of the reasons. Like, I mean, the small donations are just such a useful cop-out. Because, I mean, naturally, they've got people giving them fucking tens of thousands. But the small donations make people think that somehow they can outweigh the people who can drop, like, 10 grand at a spot, you know, at the spur of a moment. The spur of the moment, rather. But, of course, if you're getting, like, 10 grand from one source and you're getting $25 from the other source, like, who are you going to remember? Whose calls are you going to take?
Every person.
You forgot?
I'm only responsible for what I do.
Okay.
So, well, yeah, but the thing is, what you do includes taking money from these motherfuckers.
So
I mean, you can play the gotcha game, but that's not.
I'm not trying to play the gotcha game. I think you're used to like Anderson Cooper 360 and.
I mean, in fact, Actually, one of the things about like antisocial personality is that it tends to be connected with like charm and skill in manipulating people. It does not tend to be connected. It does not tend to map so strongly to, sort of social interactive traits that make people uncomfortable so much as traits that often inspire trust. Often trust that is not. Yeah, this motherfucker's faker than a $3 bill.
I'm from Town Podcast.
I'm happy to answer whatever question you have.
Okay.
Well, yeah, whatever. Here's a question for you. I think you've established.
Okay, we're getting to what I really wanted to see.
As the fiercest champion of the state of Israel in Congress.
I've never described myself in those terms.
Well, yeah, but it's the one thing that his Twitter is all about.
I'm
pro-Israel, but those are terms.
Well, I think maybe you've been dubbed that.
Yes.
Okay. Listen, like, I'm a Jewish person.
Yeah,
like, I have my own opinions on this. You have your own opinions, and this is a really frustrating conversation to see people have on the internet. I don't get an opportunity to talk to someone that's making decisions and supporting these things that are a huge deal to people right now.
Sure.
Yeah. One thing that I thought was interesting, and I want to start with you, is that you described your first trip to Israel in 2015 as a life-changing experience, and I just wanted to follow the narrative of like you growing up and your struggles, and then going into the government. Like, what was that experience like? And
what the fuck is life? It's
what bred that passion for Israel?
I mean, apart from getting to see a huge amount of racism, which is like one of the things people who it's interesting, because like people who visit often remark on it. But I wouldn't think that seeing an extremely racist place would be a particularly life-changing experience, because he comes from the U.S., plenty of racism here.
Since I grew up poor my whole life, I never had an opportunity to travel abroad.
Yeah.
So the first time I ever
free trip
went to a foreign country.
So it was life-changing because you went on a trip?
Part of the reason went abroad for the first time, life-changing. But also...
Does Israel even really count as abroad, though?
When you experience the complexity of Israel, you go to the old city.
What did you see? Like, what did you witness? Like,
go to the old city.
Yeah.
You mean occupied East Jerusalem? Yes.
Yad Vashem, which is the Holocaust Museum.
Yeah.
Go to the Masada, where Jews committed mass suicide to escape enslavement.
Of course, I've hiked up Masada.
The Gaza envelope.
Yeah.
Went to Sderot. Spoke to the.
The way he even says the term "the Gaza envelope," because the whole point of that term is to dehumanize Gaza.
Local mayor who said that.
You went to Gaza?
I did not go to Gaza. No.
What did you say? Gaza envelope?
No, Gaza envelope, which is right on the border with. It's Israel, but it's right at the border with Gaza. So.
It's right next to the fence.
Yeah, it's in the proximity to
the concentration camp fence. Yes.
What's at the Gaza envelope?
Like
I've never heard that term before.
Sderot.
Okay, he hasn't heard that term before, but it's a very common term, and it is the official term that is used by Israel.
Yeah, with the rockets going in. Yeah. How far is Sderot from Gaza? It's like a mile or something.
Yeah, within a mile.
Yeah, it's right next to it.
Yeah, striking proximity.
Tough.
Yeah.
It's a small place.
Yeah,
the whole thing. Yeah.
That's why Hamas was able to so easily penetrate on October 7th.
By getting over the fence.
Yeah.
Well, actually, they didn't get over the fence. They actually bulldozed through it after first destroying all of the fucking surveillance. All of the surveillance equipment, all of the automatic. They have auto-firing machine guns set up on that wall. And they detonated those. And all the cameras, and all the tripwires and stuff. They didn't go over the fence. They literally took a bulldozer through it.
Yeah. No, I just want to know, because it seems like it was powerful, and it seems like it's informed your record, and I that's what's interesting to me. It's like your story and how you got here, and like I think it's narratively what fascinates me.
Maybe one day you'll give me a chance to tell it. So.
He's trying to get you to tell it, and you're not really saying much.
Why are you annoyed by this question?
I'm kidding. So I spoke to.
He's kidding. Like, yeah, look at that big ass fake smile. He's obviously kidding.
Steroid.
Steroid. Yeah.
Steroid. Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, I guess you could describe Zionism as a sort of form of roid rage.
And he said to me that the majority of his children struggle with post-traumatic stress because families like his live under the threat of relentless rocket fire. And I remember seeing these bus stops doubling as bomb shelters. You know, I come from the Bronx where people live in fear of bullets and guns, but you know, we in America do not.
Well, yeah, except here's the thing, though. I'm pretty sure actually more people get killed by those things in the Bronx per capita. In fact, I'm absolutely certain that more people per capita get killed by that stuff in the Bronx than get killed by the rockets that he's talking about. And I happen to know this because the Israeli Ministry of Foreign Affairs actually keeps records of this, publishes them, and those records very clearly show that actually almost nobody ever gets hurt by those rockets, the ones he's talking about.
Worry about Canada and Mexico firing rockets into American homes and communities. You know, we're a country of 330 million people. We're surrounded by oceans, and Israel's a tiny democracy. The size.
I mean, I guess you could say tiny is a good description of the amount of democracy allowed there.
Of New Jersey, that's literally surrounded by.
Wait, it's the size of New Jersey, but it's tiny. Lots of countries are the size of New Jersey. That's kind of a normal size for a country, actually. I mean, it's not that countries the size of New Jersey are tiny. It's just that the U.S. is one of the unusually huge ones.
Non-state actors that are intent on wiping it off the map. So,
yeah,
you know, I left Israel with an empathy for the unique security situation that Israel faces.
Did you visit?
I mean, it's interesting because he doesn't even really seem like he does sound. He's able to sort of humanize the people in the town of Steroid, as it's apparently also called, but not
occupied territories. William?
I went into the not Gaza, but I went into the Palestinian Ramallah. So.
Yeah, Ramallah.
Yeah.
And what did you see when you were there?
And we spoke to Palestinians who obviously have a much more critical view of Israel.
I mean, yeah. Although the thing about Ramallah is it's also sort of. You know these free trade zones? Like, Ramallah is a sort of, well, I mean, that isn't an inaccurate term. They are non-state actors because they're not allowed to form a state. I mean, but, like, who gives a shit? Yeah, it seems sort of a random thing to point out. Like, would it be better if they were state actors? But, I mean, like, Ramallah is sort of, the epicenter of neoliberalism in the 1967 territories, and it's of course where Israel's Palestinian Authority has the bulk of their infrastructure of control. So chances are a U.S. member of Congress is probably going to be talking to people who work for Israel's Palestinian Authority.
And
that didn't resonate as much as, like, what was your takeaway from hearing?
Look,
you're hearing the mayor of Sderot, his children have PTSD, and then this guy's like, Israel's screwing with me.
Well, look, I'm in favor of a two-state solution.
But what the fuck? That means literally nothing.
Sure.
I feel like the just outcome lies not in the existence of a Jewish state to the exclusion of a Palestinian state, or the existence of a Palestinian state to the exclusion of a Jewish state.
Why not just not have ethno-states?
Existence of both.
But it's interesting that this is immediately, like, he just goes over, it's like he switches over into fucking NPC mode here. He's asked a question about whether maybe Palestinians who talked to him also expressed some kind of experience of trauma related to living under occupation, and what does he say? Oh, well, I'm in favor of a two-state solution. It's like, nobody fucking asked. Nobody fucking asked.
So I think I want to see the struggle, both the Israeli and the Palestinian struggle for self-determination to be reconciled in the form of a two-state solution.
A big topic nowadays is campus anti-Semitism.
Yeah.
You've spoken out against it. I just want...
which is, I mean, another way of saying he's just sort of lied and called people anti-Semitic for disagreeing with him on the question of whether genocide is bad.
I don't know what you identify as the examples of this type of anti-Semitism in elite academic institutions.
Yeah, so
I'm actually like having nose sympathy with Adam Friedland right now because it sounds like he's got a bad cold, and it's like making my nose stuff up in solidarity with his. But okay, this is the bit that I was hearing about where he just kind of shits the bed completely.
Where students at a CUNY Halal, where you had a violent, what I thought was an aggressive mob following them to a kosher restaurant in the heart of New York City.
I mean, so what Hillel is so notoriously hardline right-wing Zionist that they have a policy that chapters of Hillel that will even allow speakers who will support Palestinian rights get de-affiliated from the national organization.
And
what were they doing? The mob? What was the mob doing?
Just following them, and then barricaded the restaurant, and
they're like chanting,
hurled insults at the patrons, and slamming the windows. You know, much of it is captured in video footage.
Yeah.
Okay, but like this is such a vague description. So they were following like what? Okay, so what were the pro-Israel student group doing? Like, and was this just any old restaurant? Was this a restaurant that is known, I mean, for doing fundraisers for the IDF, as has been the case in a few of these examples, and it gets somehow strangely left out?
You know, harassing people simply for being pro-Israel Jews, to me, is wrong.
Is there any other examples?
Like, so
there's a restaurant. I mean, it's just like...
It's
all we're hearing about is campus anti-Semitism, I mean, radical. Like, is there a link between Hamas and the protests? Like, is that established?
I mean, that's something that is certainly Torres has acted like it is.
Well, there are students who have faced harassment and intimidation because of their beliefs.
Oh, well, yes, yes, and you have been encouraging the people doing the harassment and intimidation.
There are students who feel inhibited from expressing their Jewish or Zionist identity because of...
Notice how he's just treating those as synonyms.
The atmosphere of intimidation or harassment on college campuses. You should speak to this.
How have they...
Are you denying that there's any campus anti-Semitism? Or...
Like, I mean, what he just said is kind of anti-Semitic, since he's just equating Jews and Zionism.
Well, I'll give you an example. I know a younger person that went to UCLA and was attacked, and is Jewish, and was with a group of Jewish people at a protest, and they were attacked by the Proud Boys.
Okay, that's an anti-Semitic incident.
No,
that is good, because the Proud Boys were there supporting Israel.
The Proud Boys were there for Israel. And those are the guys that did Charlottesville.
The Proud Boys are there for Israel?
Yes, they are. I mean, the Proud Boys also showed up in New York, so there's no way that Torres doesn't know this. I mean, certainly people have pointed it out to him on Twitter. I've seen it.
Yeah.
I think of the Proud Boys as like white nationalists and white supremacists.
I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, exactly. That's why they're for Israel, actually, Richie. They're for Israel because Israel does the thing they want.
We're anti-Israel, but okay.
Listen, I'm like a comedian, right? Like, I hate when comedians, especially on the internet, like, speak from a position of authority with about crap that they don't know about. You know?
Well, I mean, sort of like what Ritchie Torres is doing here, because he clearly doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
This is one topic I feel like
what he said there I thought was interesting. That was interesting because I think it was an unrehearsed moment he just had. Possibly the first one and maybe even the only one in this entire discussion. He was not expecting to be confronted with the idea that pro-Israel Proud Boys beat the shit out of Jewish protesters who are protesting against the genocide that Torres supports, and he clearly did not have a considered answer there, because what he said was, well, I just kind of thought they were anti-Israel because, you know, they're white nationalists, and it's like that. I feel like that's not what you would say if you were expecting this, which is interesting to me.
Can speak on. And
because, like, Richard Spencer is also a big fucking Zionist.
And
on college campus anti-Semitism.
No, on anti-Semitism and
yeah, I mean, it has been almost all scripted, and not very well scripted, I would say, either.
Because you haven't been in college how long? Probably 2 decades, right?
I'm telling you, on my experience of anti-Semitism the last 2 years. But the last 2 years have felt different in America. And I don't know if you've been on Twitter recently. Now, a ton of people are questioning the validity of the Holocaust having happened.
Yes.
Can you tell me with a straight face that those are the 18-year-old kids at Columbia that are doing that?
The 18-year-old kids at Columbia?
Are they doing those posts about the
been,
Holocaust never having existed? You
been,
know who's doing it.
No, we disagree here.
I mean, wait, we disagree that he knows who's doing it? I mean,
You think that it's the...
You don't put words in my mouth.
Well, I think he's actually trying to get words out of your mouth. Like...
It's people on the right. Let me tell you...
You're suggesting that there's... You're suggesting there's you're suggesting there's no one on the far left that denies the Holocaust?
Well, yes, actually, there is not. There literally isn't. Because the whole reason people deny the Holocaust is because they want to do Nazi shit, and it takes away the main fucking moral objection to speaking out explicitly in favor of Nazi shit. Like...
Or downplays the Holocaust? That's an absurd
What are
statement.
you're doing moot court right now?
Oh, well, now you see, he throws in downplay. Well, what does downplays mean? What do you mean by downplays? Like, because you will hear, this is a big one in Germany, when people will point out, you know, that there have been other genocides, including other genocides committed specifically by Germany in the 20th century. And if you try to suggest that you discuss the Nazi Holocaust in a continuum, in, you know, in the same sort of context as, say, King Leopold in Belgium and the, like, millions of people in the of Congolese people he fucking murdered, or the Hanama Herero Tanganyika genocide that Germany committed in the earlier 20th century, and all that, and they will say, oh, you are relativizing the Holocaust, you're, you know, downplaying the Holocaust, which of course you're not.
I'm telling you what it's like to be my experience being Jewish.
Yeah, but there are others who have a different
I'm trying to see you're.
Well, yeah, but get motherfucker. You're the one who seems to be completely oblivious to any other experience.
Why is one better than the other? Why is one more important than the other? I'm trying to share with you. You're the government. I don't get a chance to talk.
Of course.
Okay. I think hatred of Jewish people has exploded in this country, and
I don't know about exploded personally. I think that it has been made more open. I don't think there is, like, quantitatively more of it, but of course, I mean, like, it is definitely being spoken more openly, including by this fucking administration that is just openly just parroting one anti-Semitic conspiracy theory after another.
Our support of what looks to be an absolute brutality. And I think that...
You think that's a justification for anti-Semitism?
Motherfucker, it's not about justification.
You think Israeli government policy is a justification for anti-Semitism?
No, that's not... He didn't say shit about justification. I think he probably does not feel that anti-Semitism is justified. But, you know, when you have a fucking vicious genocidal regime that is doing genocide and saying, yeah, we're doing this for the Jews. We here. Look at our flag. It's got a big Star of David on it. We're doing this. Did we tell you we're Jewish? We're a Jewish state. We're a Jewish state, and we're doing a genocide right here. And at some point, that is going to have an effect because some people are going to take them at their fucking word. That's not justifying it. That's pointing out where it's coming from.
My view is there's no justification for anti-Semitism.
I think that
there's zero justification for anti-Semitism.
Okay. Well, but I mean, he said anti-Semitic things just a minute ago himself. So I mean, clearly there's some justifications as far as he's concerned.
Deflecting again.
I'm not deflecting. That's my position.
What does it look like to have a flag with a Jewish star and I'm Jewish, and for kids to be starving right now? Why is my government? I don't want to do this fight. Let's not do like a yelling at each other thing. I don't think I would actually prefer to see Ritchie Torres yelling. In fact, I would also enjoy people yelling at Ritchie Torres. I'm kind of cool with both of those things. For me, I had the experience of.
It just sounds like you're justifying anti-Semitism.
No, you shut the fuck up. Like, you've said that like 10 times now. It doesn't make any more sense now than it did the first time.
Which making me feel.
Are you crazy?
We're making Ritchie Torres feel uncomfortable. That's terrible. Ritchie Torres is uncomfortable, y'all. Shit.
Is he right now? Why would I do that? You're doing the I'm Hamas thing?
I'm not saying
it's
you're
not
Hamas.
A winner.
Yeah, you're not exactly not saying it either.
I'm not. I think
we'll
there should be.
We'll do a different tack.
The Israeli government policy should have no bearing on. If you have disagreements with the Israeli government, you should voice your criticism of the Israeli government. But there is no justification for intimidation or harassment against American Jews.
I'm telling you, as a Jew right now, that we are receiving a lot more hate because of what the people with the flag that has a Jewish star on are doing to other people right now. I'm telling you, as a Jewish person, how painful it is for us to say, and it hurts my stomach to say this. So you're going to say, I disagree, that this is a genocide. And that hurts to say that a Jew could do that. It hurts because we grew up with learning about what hatred is. We grew up.
And clearly it wasn't done well. I mean, the whole Holocaust education thing needs to just be scrapped and rewritten. If there's any lesson from this fucking genocide, I mean, that's one of them. There are lots of them, but that's obviously one of them. Because never again, as a slogan, if that's the point of the curriculum, then it's not doing it.
Learning about this. And the same year the State of Israel was established, in 1948, the world saw the Holocaust, and they established standards for what a genocide is. It was the same year. And
conveniently, just a little bit after the Nakba happened. Like, Israel got really in under the wire because if they had done the Nakba and all their founding atrocities just a little bit later, existing modern international law would have applied. They did it right before, knowing that it was under discussion, no doubt.
The world said that this shouldn't be a thing that happens.
I mean, there's a question, and I do not know the answer. Although I can think of people who might actually have the answer. Because it seems like an obvious thing. Because, of course, I mean, these were public discussions about these, like the 1949 Geneva Conventions. Or the Genocide Convention and all these things. And those were public discussions in the UN. Certainly the Zionist leadership in Palestine would have had people they could talk to. They would have known. And what I'm kind of curious about was their timing at all influenced by the fact that if they did this later, they might end up in a legal environment where they would be committing things that were officially recognized as crimes against humanity. I mean, the timing is so tight that it is quite curious.
And I just wonder, like, it doesn't make sense to me, I don't know, it doesn't track to me why there's this fixation with kids at a school and 2 examples of people at a restaurant that there was banging.
2 examples. I mean, there are.
You're giving.
I mean, really, it was one example. He's giving you credit, Richie.
Surveys on it.
Give me
Read the ADL surveys on it. Because
I mean, fuck the ADL. I mean, the ADL doesn't think Nazi salutes are anti-Semitic.
It's hard for me to talk about this in public because.
Oh, we got link spam. We got link spam. Goodbye, crawling baroness of link spam. I mean, I'm sure that they really can get the best viewers, which is why they're spamming the chats of somebody who... How many people have I got? How many lovely viewers have I got? 6. See, that's somebody... I mean, that's how I really trust. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Zionism starts from the idea that anti-Semitism is universal, ubiquitous, and natural. Like, in fact, the whole underlying idea, the fundamental idea of Zionism on anti-Semitism is that fighting anti-Semitism is pointless. Like, I mean, you read Hatzel on this, they all, all the leading thinkers of Zionism say the same thing on this. That, anti-Semitism is just a natural phenomenon, and it is Jews' fault for being in places we supposedly don't belong in. So, that is why we should always be extremely suspicious when Zionists suddenly claim to care about fighting anti-Semitism. And it is a big part of why, when Zionists do fight anti-Semitism, they show very little interest in the places where you're most likely to find it. Like fucking Nazis and shit.
You're being a dick. That's mean.
No. I'm not being mean. It's an emotional topic.
All right.
Well, I mean, it's like... Of course, Jesus, yeah. Jesus.
I'll share with you what happened.
I'm not...
I lived there
I don't intend to be mean, so.
Sir,
Yeah. I mean, Zionism is a fundamentally anti-Semitic ideology, and it is a big part of why Zionists, from the inception of the ideology, have always sought alliances with the most anti-Semitic motherfuckers of their day. I mean, Herzl himself said, the biggest anti-Semites are going to be our most trustworthy allies. The anti-Semitic countries are the ones we'll be able to rely on the most. And historically, right through till today, you find Zionists looking for, just murderous anti-Semites as allies. And that's why the ADL doesn't think Nazi salutes are anti-Semitic.
I lived there when I was 18,
Yeah.
and I grew up a Zionist. And we were told, and our whole community in this country is told, that we have to defend Israel and love Israel because it'll stop the Holocaust. It will stop another Holocaust from happening.
Yeah, which is bullshit. Like, I mean, the immediate question that if we weren't, I'm saying we as the Jewish community weren't lied to about our own fucking history, we would know just how absurd it is to be counting on Zionists to defend us from another Holocaust. Like, even allowing the possibility that that's just going to definitely happen again, and therefore is a thing we should plan for. Even allowing for that, which I don't entirely. But, if we knew our history, we would know that it was just ridiculous for people to be suggesting that Zionists are going to protect us from this, because they would guaranteed be sucking up to the people who were going to try to kill us.
And my dad was born in 1951. That was 6 years after these atrocities. His friends' parents, he knew these people that had been through this hell, these skeletons. And it terrified us. And the understanding in our community is that we have to defend Israel. But I lived there, and I went to...
One interesting thing to know when we talk about the sentiment in the community is that the arch-Zionist American Jewish Council, they carry out one of the only studies of Jewish public opinion in the U.S. every year. And it seems like every year they lop a few more questions off of it. Like, they used to ask people point blank what they thought of Israel. Now they don't. They're like, and not just recently, like going back a few years, they stopped asking They stopped asking questions that would actually require respondents to say what they think of what Israel is doing, or what they think of certain Israeli politicians, or something like that. Now their surveys, they will of course claim that it's proof that, that the Jewish community is resolutely behind Israel or whatever, but the questions they ask do not elicit those answers.
A settlement at the end of my year there, and I looked down the hill at a Palestinian village, and I saw how they lived, and I turned back and I looked at the settlement and saw how they lived, and people live in a world where they're demeaned and dehumanized and surveilled constantly by people and this isn't in Gaza, by people in SWAT team outfits with semi-automatic weapons, and that's what the world is seeing. And you keep telling me that the problem is someone's getting yelled at a restaurant? I'm sorry.
You're conflating two different issues.
No, they're not conflating two different issues. You, motherfucker, were conflating two different issues when you said that Jews should be safe, and Zionists should be safe. Because, yeah, I think, let's be, safety for all ethnic groups is my thing. That's why I want no racism. That's why I think that's a thing we shouldn't do. I think we should stop doing it. But, part of not doing racism is that people, fucking Zionists should not be allowed to be comfortable anywhere, actually.
Please.
Or any other kind of white supremacist.
Me saying this to you right now will hurt people in my own family, okay? Because this is a very important thing to us, and the fact that I still fucking care about being Jewish is embarrassing. I should just be a guy. But this feels like a stain on our history, and it feels like it's changed what being Jewish is, because what being Jewish isn't Israel. Judaism has existed for 4,000 years. This is a country for 75 years. It is the oldest. One of the oldest monotheistic religions. Anti-Semitism is one of the oldest forms of hatred. People in my life,
look at him. He does not look like he gives a shit. Adam Friedland is low key. This is really why, because he is clearly distraught. He is clearly distraught in the presence of Ritchie Torres here. And I can see why. Because nothing fucking... this motherfucker is so flat. You could play billiards on his affect. You could play fucking snooker on his affect. This guy is, seriously distraught over what he's talking about, because... Let's face it, if you actually are, if you have a more than passing connection to humanity, what is going on, what Israel and the US are doing, is the sort of thing that will fuck you up if you think about it for more than 5 minutes. And he's, having a clearly very emotional moment, and look at fucking Ritchie Torres, look at this. Look at, what is this facial expression?
Are going to be mad at me about this, but I'm saying this because I am Jewish.
Look at him. There's nothing. Zip.
And I don't understand why you would be.
Look at how you define.
You could cool your drinks on fucking Ritchie Torres. If you find that your beer's gotten warm, give it to Ritchie Torres, have him hold it for 5 minutes, that shit will be ice cold.
I feel like I'm here to be lectured, not...
Well, maybe you need to be fucking lectured, Ritchie. Because... that at least assumes a possibility of improvement, which I don't necessarily see, and this is why I also don't necessarily think that it's a good idea to do this sort of thing. But on the other hand, it is educational, because look at this. Yeah, Torres doesn't give a shit. He's if you're sitting across from somebody who is, visibly distraught, with what they're trying to tell you, and distraught with your complete lack, the fact that you're giving them nothing as they're trying to say it. You know, and all you got there is like, I think you're trying to lecture me. It's like, man, like, Jesus, this does not, I have to say, for somebody who almost certainly goes through all sorts of media trainings as any member of Congress does, he's really not actually reading this room. He's really, I mean, this is not, I was worried that he was going to be able to, that he was going to make points that, like, sort of try to appear to be redeeming his horrible, like, genocidal views. But, I mean, this is just making him look like a fucking NPC.
Shut up. That's not nice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you're seeking safety at this... Yeah. I mean, especially if it's safety at the expense of somebody who is already marginalized, who you, you know, who's already marginalized by, like, a system that favors you.
Can't talk that way.
I mean, like, I think that to a certain extent, Palestinians in Palestine seeking safety would have to be doing it at the expense, to some extent, of the settler population. Like, how that ultimately, like, what fucking resolution can come of that? It's, like, seems almost ridiculous to be talking about it at the moment, given what's going on and what we have to, you know, what is, again, this fucking genocide, which still has to be stopped in order for there to be any meaningful discussion of any of this stuff. I don't know, like, there are Democrats who could have handled this way better than Torres, I think. I'm like, Torres is really, it's like he just has rehearsed talking points. I feel like there are others who would have done better than this. But yeah, this is what they elevate. And this is why they're, you know, this is why they can't crack 30%.
Why are one set of Jews more poor than others?
No one's saying any...
What happened? You went to the beach in Israel? What, you went to a restaurant or something? A nice restaurant?
No.
Like, listen.
Never even been to the Tel Aviv Pride Parade. So.
This is the year 2025.
Yeah.
The world is seeing something that looks terrible, and it's being done in my name, and I don't know what to do.
But the war began on October 7th.
No, it didn't. Shut the fuck up. Yeah.
Did it?
Yes, it did.
You're
when Hamas systematically murdered and made, and you want.
Okay.
Look, we're going down a rabbit hole. We fundamentally disagree.
No. I mean, this isn't a rabbit hole, motherfucker. It's just facts.
Hamas murdered and maimed.
No, you're doing the
and
TV
mutilated.
No, they didn't. Like, they didn't do those things. Yeah, that's neat. It's alliteration. It's also just not fucking true.
Abducted and tortured.
No, they didn't. There's no, like, literally nobody says they were tortured.
Television, that's a fact, that's reality.
No, it isn't. You made that shit up, Ritchie. You gotta stop making shit up, Ritchie. It would be an improvement if you stuck to things that are facts, Ritchie. And maybe showed some, like, sign of that you are in this...
You can deny it?
Well, yeah, nothing justifies a fucking genocide. And the thing is, the things that he's saying about the 7th of October are just bullshit. Yeah.
You can
I'm not
downplay
denying
it,
October 7th.
Well, you seem to be
You're doing the I'm pro
so.
October 7th. You're doing I'm pro Hamas.
I never said you were pro Hamas. You're putting
he's not saying it.
It is.
But you seem to be downplaying it.
Well, I mean, if downplaying means actually not saying things happened that didn't happen.
Last 17 years, people have been under a blockade where they cannot leave.
It was 17 years in 2023, it's worth noting.
If you were born in a place and there's a fence there and there's a guy with a gun on the other side and he says you can't go anywhere, would you like that guy? If you treat people like animals, sometimes they're gonna lash out.
Look, I sincerely believe.
See, and it's like, yes, but on the other hand, it really sells the resistance short to say that, because they executed a military operation And they did, and it was not like, I mean, there were some people who like lashed out, like, because when they opened the breaches in the fence, anybody could get out, and lots of people did, and some of them were in a mood to lash out. That is true, but like that's not what the resistance was doing. I mean, they executed a just perfectly executed fucking operation against the Gaza division, and absolutely humiliated the IDF.
Maybe I'm wrong. That if Palestinians were governed not by a terrorist organization like Hamas in Gaza.
I love how the fact that the U.S. declares something a terrorist organization means that people just treat it like it's a fucking fact. There are like a handful of countries that declare Hamas and the other Palestinian resistance groups terrorist organizations. And then there's like literally the entire rest of the world. So, you know, because the U.S. says it, obviously it's a fucking fact. Like, the process for getting declared a terrorist organization is such a joke, too. Speaking of due process. Literally, the State Department says, oh, we don't like them, we're going to declare them terrorists. It gets published in the Federal Register, and there's very little recourse against it.
But by a regime that was able and willing to make peace with Israel, the situation would be fundamentally different.
Well, no, he did not exactly know. That's not quite accurate. It's true that Israeli intelligence had been warned that there was an operation planned for early October. Nobody had, but the thing to remember about Israel is that they are extremely arrogant. They assume that the people who surround them are militarily incompetent. So their assumption was that nothing would come of it. And so they did not actually prepare in particular, take any particular preparations. I mean, yes, it was used to justify the genocide, but according to Palestinian intelligence services, Israel was planning something like this in the first place, and actually the October offensive was meant to be they describe it as a preemptive strike. They specifically say that they were trying to preempt a genocidal assault along the lines that we're seeing right now.
The preconditions for this happening are undeniably something that the Israeli government was fully aware of. Why would Bibi Netanyahu... Okay, here's the question.
Do you think October 7th was justified?
No.
Okay, I'm happy you said that.
Yeah, you should never want to make Ritchie Torres happy.
Are you?
I mean, the first question to ask him is, like, do we mean what actually happened? Or do we mean the bullshit that you just made up?
Listening to what I'm saying right now?
I am listening to what you're saying.
Why would the Israeli government... Hamas wants to eradicate the Jewish people and the Jewish state?
I mean, no, they don't. They actually very specifically don't.
Is that right?
That's what Hamas has said, yeah.
Okay.
No, I mean, that is literally not what they've said.
Okay. Then why would they directly give Hamas money, literally bags of cash, in suitcases?
That's not actually... This is how the New York Times presented it, but what actually happened was not money for Hamas. This was to do with the fact that as part of the policy of sort of lulling Israel into a false sense of security, they had resumed the guest worker program, and Israel was accepting of it. And in order to actually get the remittances of the pay that was due the Palestinian workers from Gaza who are going into the 1948 territories to work, it was transferred via Qatar because Israel does not have direct financial links with anyone in Gaza. That's what that was. That money did not go to Hamas. That money literally went to Palestinian workers in Gaza.
Through the Qataris. Nearly, I think, over $1 billion in cash.
I mean, that literally is not what happened.
During this last 17 years.
That's a fair point. It's a great question.
I mean, it's a question that's already been answered. It wasn't over 17 years, it's worth noting, because that guest worker program was suspended for a very long time. the plans for the October offensive went back actually like a couple of years, and part of that was to create on the side of the Israeli leadership the impression that the Palestinians were a spent force, that there was no fight in them. And part of that was like resuming the guest worker program. And that's what that money is about. We know the answer's already been provided. It's been thoroughly researched. That money went to Palestinians who had been working in the 48 territories because it's the only way to transfer money between Israel and Gaza.
If one of those kids at Columbia wrote a $5 check to Hamas, you'd say send them to Gitmo for being a terrorist.
It's a fair point.
Does that make Benjamin Netanyahu a terrorist? He's supporting terror.
The United States, it seems to me, the United States and Israel could have shut off the spigot and did not do so. I don't know why, but that was a failure. There's no question.
I think that what I see is the reason why our government provides $25 billion to something that looks this horrific to people.
In 2024, the federal government spent more on genocide in Gaza than they spent on the fucking EPA.
I think it's the same reason. I think it makes it look like the Jews control the government, but really what it is the more boring answer. It's the reason why the government and you guys don't get shit done. It's the reason why Sandy Hook could happen. You guys.
They do get shit done, though. They get plenty of shit done. It's just not good shit. They don't get the things done that that most of us think they should be getting done, because they don't really give a shit what most of us think. That's why most of us think that we should have a national health service kind of thing, some kind of public, national public health service kind of situation, and that is a very popular position, and it is basically unanimously rejected by politicians. I wonder why. Or just any number of things. They get shit done. It's just they get horrible shit done.
Can't do gun reform. It's because
why can't we do gun reform?
Because special interest groups can buy influence in our government.
Well, which political party is against gun reform?
The NRA has a power.
Well, actually, it's funny that he brings that up, because in Texas, not long after the Uvalde shooting, the Nancy Pelosi and other top Democrats there was a Democratic primary in Texas. Yeah, different class of interests. And there were two people contesting this Democratic primary at the time. One was a guy by the name of Henry Cuellar, currently under investigation for some kind of corruption, anti-choice, and the NRA love him. And then his opponent was generally considered a fairly progressive sort of person. I didn't know much about her, but she was pro-choice and also thought that, and was also not a darling of the NRA. Pelosi and Schumer and the rest of them backed the guy who was the fucking NRA darling, who ended up winning, and would be in Congress right now, except he's under investigation for all sorts of exciting corruption.
It's the Republican Party.
We allow our government to be flooded with cash and money. And it's what's scary to me is that people are starting to question the Holocaust ever happening.
I don't think people are starting to question that. I think the people who deny it feel that they have a moment where they can talk about it loudly.
Maybe they invented the Holocaust.
You're blaming Israel for Holocaust denial?
Israel actually engages in Holocaust denial. Netanyahu in particular has actually said he has exonerated Hitler.
I'm blaming our government for supporting a genocide.
Yeah.
But it is unfathomable in my heart, and it breaks my heart, that we could be capable of it.
I think we should move on.
Well, you don't get to... This isn't your fucking interview, Richie. You don't get to decide whether... I think we should move on. Well, that's neat. I'm the one doing the interview.
Why is that?
We just fundamentally disagree, so...
And he, I think, on some level realizes how bad this is making him look.
I don't think that. I think I'm talking to you like about where I come from and that it feels different, and maybe I have a different perspective.
You have a different perspective.
But
you have a different perspective. Like,
but
yeah, I mean, like, you could freeze dry shit in this motherfucker's mouth.
Have a perspective that's different from yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, and your perspective sucks, actually.
A much smaller platform than you.
I'm not. I hate this conversation.
I know.
I hate this conversation. I really don't think it was good that this conversation took place. I do think it could have been worse. I don't think that this benefited Torres. I think it was an absolute mistake on his part, actually, to participate. And I think, I mean, if I were the people who, are supposed to, like, vet his media appearances, I feel like he ought to fire them, because this has just made him look utterly sinister.
I have it with my family, you know? It's not something, and I love my family.
If it were up to me, we would not be having this because we're speaking a foreign language.
Well, yes, he's speaking fucking human. And you're, like, about to offer him a fucking Yeah, I mean, this was... I have to say, it's like... The best thing that I can say about this is that I think it did not do Torres any good at all. I think that this makes him look like shit. I don't... I was worried that he would be able to sort of make himself come off sympathetic or, like, make some kind of points for his, like, pro-genocide position, and he can't. He is as fucking flat as destiny.
Family grew up in South Africa, right? We were like Jews from Eastern Europe that literally we thought we were going to Ellis Island. Mm-hmm. My grandma, all the grannies stayed, and my parents' whole generation of South African Jews left. And when I was a kid, like growing up, I used to write all my who's my hero essays on Nelson Mandela, and
who Israel also doesn't like. So I mean, is Ritchie Torres like trying to calculate whether it's okay for him to be pro Nelson Mandela?
He was like a hero of mine, right? And he was also, in prison, and for terrorism too. I don't want to get it. You're gonna go Hamas is what I don't want. I'm not debating Hamas is good. He was called that, and
the U.S. had him on the terrorist list until 2008. They literally kept him on there until it became absolutely embarrassing that he was ever on there.
He went to my synagogue after he got out of prison, Madiba, and he spoke to like all the grandmas who like were still there. They didn't have to fucking move because black people could vote. And he said, "Tell your kids to come back because we need them to build our country." I don't know. I think that I don't see what's wrong with people being afforded the right to vote.
Do you think that's what Hamas means when it says free Palestine from the river to the sea?
They don't say that, though. Hamas literally does not say that.
To me, it seems like maybe if there's a recognition that people were cleared off their land in 1948.
But there are those...
Okay, well, it is time to wrap this up. Thank you to everyone for joining in. I hope you enjoyed the stream, and if you enjoyed the stream so much that you would like to contribute to my ability to continue to do all of these streams and all the other projects and stuff that I am engaged in at any given time, there's a link where you can do it. It's always very much appreciated. I will be back on Friday at 11:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, and I look forward to seeing you then. God, Ritchie Torres. He actually looks better on Twitter, and I have to say he actually seems worse in person than on Twitter, and